Well, welcome once again. And what do we have for you today? So, I'm going to give you some updates here on Burning America and what is happening. So, for a lot of folks who are following along and want to know what are the latest developments, well, here they come, and they're coming right at you. So, Burning America in the best interest of the children is being adapted as a screenplay. And I want to talk a little bit about screenplay writing for you today, and especially what's really key, what it takes when it comes to that script. In other words, what does it take to sell your script? Trying to help people out here and get some idea of what can be done and how to do it. So let's give you some idea. So writing a script is what? And what might you say? Think of this as having some blank pages or blank spaces, actually. So writing a script is the creative act. Yes, keep that in mind. So writing is a creative act, but now I'm going to switch to saying what is selling a script. Selling a script is a business act that requires some creativity. I want you to grasp now the difference between the two. So when we are writing, we are very creative, but selling, it's business. And how do we know this for a person? Well, this will show up in your belief in yourself. First of all, do you believe as though you've got a project that is worth selling and it's a business act? And probably some people need a little bolstering in that respect, but a belief in yourself and willingness to change. This is something which is difficult for me. I'm going to be honest with you and say it's not all that easy, but somebody tells you you need to change something, but you can, and this is the part that you do control, you can create the conditions for a sale. And that's what you need to do in terms of getting it out there. To sell a script, what do you need? So number one, to sell a script, you need a script that can sell. Here's something you need to grasp about the process. It's not as though you don't have a good story, but you have to be able to sell it. And that's the business part that I'm really trying to emphasize today. The key for selling a script is the hook. You've got to get people involved and engage them. And this is often a high concept. So let me say a little bit about a high concept. In contrast, a high concept is not a book summary. It's not a book report. It's not the plot, but it's a concept that can sell. That's what's key. So there's some things to talk about when it comes to a high concept and what that is. It's unique. So how many times have you seen a movie and it's a cliche? I said, I've seen this movie before. So you want to avoid those kinds of things, but you have to have a unique story, a pitch, and a concept in the sell. And when it comes to selling, this is what's key. So 3 things you want to keep in mind. Some of the things that will help along those lines: an engaging what? Look at this as the blank space here. An engaging title. Also, what's key is you have to have some great roles for the leading characters. And this is to appeal to the actors or actresses who are going to be in that production. Why do they take roles? Because of good writing. That's the screenwriter, and that's what the screenplay bring to them. So a great role for the leading actors or actresses. If they enjoy it, you've got a good chance to sell here. So owning the IP, the intellectual property, means that you often will have, in order to be successful, a script that can be a book, or it can be optioned, a pitch. And if you don't adopt it and you don't option, what you need for number 2 here is a well-written pitch. Be able to sell. This comes back to saying this is really a business process. Not a book report, not a summary, but for number 2 and under number 2, a well-written pitch delivers that high concept powerfully. So doing your pitch, a lot of words that people will put into these things, and that's not necessarily the case. It's got to be something which is hook-filled and gets people interested. When you deliver a pitch, you're only going to be pitching the lead characters only, a maximum of 3 characters. That's what will sell. Doesn't have to be overly dramatic, but the pitch has to be good. You have to appeal to people so that they understand what you are going for. The pitch here, keep in mind, is we see the movie, but only the most interesting parts. Think of a trailer. Why do you invest your time and your money into seeing a movie? It's like seeing it through the trailer. The trailer is what hooks people into putting their time and money into a project that they go to see. That's similarly to what a pitch ought to be. Number 3, only pitch those producers, because under number 3, the target market is the producers, and there are various. There are large ones, the studios that you probably don't have access to. There are the medium level, who you can get a hold of in most cases, and your small producers. If you want a good strategy to get to the bigger people, the medium or the high level, go to the small ones, but who have worked with the medium or the high level producers. And that's a little tip here to help you out there. Only pitch the producers who fit your genre. Don't take a romance novel or an adaptation for a screenplay to a horror producer. That's not going to work. We're looking for the producers who will fit the buyer's budget. That's really important. And a lot of times what people are overly concerned about is don't worry about the doors that are closed, only worry about the doors that open for you, and whatever that might be. So if you're a beginning scriptwriter, virtually anything. If you're medium level, you've sold some projects, moving up the scale, anything that will fit for you. Number 4, get the blank thoughts here. I'll fill it in. Get the script in the door. Problem. Most people think that either it's easy, it's not, then they give up at the first rejection, another mistake, or they think that it's impossible and they don't even try. So most people think it's easy, give up the first rejection, or they think it's impossible, don't even try. The solution is, for this under number 4, know that it is possible, but it will take consistent work, and consistency will pay off. You can get through as many doors as possible or any methods, but you really have to be able to be consistent. And this is why I'm saying that people either think it's really going to be easy, it's the greatest story ever written, everybody's going to like it, or they think it's impossible. Number 5, make the deal. It's important. Make the deal, and the deal killer is trying to get the perfect deal, which does not exist. But you can get a deal, and there's various methods of getting a deal. So methods with email, on social, contacts, networking. So not a perfect deal, but what we would say is a sensible deal for both parties, both for yourself as the screenwriter and also for the producer and the person who's putting up the money. For the producer, it's based on budget, urgency, and their back end. What are they going to get out of this? And what's their budget? And sometimes if they are urgently needing somebody, you might be that person who would fit in there. So last but not least, for the writer, how do you know what moves your career forward? But this is what the screenplay selling is all about. It's what increases your career. And for a writer, there are several things. For a series, possibly moving forward that way to get on the air in the first place. If you are new, just to break in. If you've been around for a while, increase credibility. So you find yourself working with some better producers, some better folks, or the experience that might be for some, or for others, it's simply the credit. So one of the things you want to consider are what area do you fit into and which one is best and right for you. What I've been talking about today are some tips and hints and things that might be helpful for you. How you sell a script. Think business, not necessarily creative part, but be consistent, go for it, If I can be of any further assistance, kindly let me know. That's it for this particular episode on how to sell a script. Take care. Until next time, stay as well.